Welcome to the Popish plot. I'm Mike, and today's plot is Narwhal Day. Now, the narwhal is one of God's most magnificent creatures. It's a small whale with a unicorn horn. And that's both preposterous and literally true. The narwhal is a small whale with a single spiral horn. Now, the horn is not actually a horn. The horn is a tooth. Occasionally, narwhals do not have this tusk. Occasionally, they'll have two. But most common is for a narwhal to have one single tusk coming out of its face and projecting forward, looking for all the world like a unicorn horn. Now, I can say that it's literally true that it's a unicorn horn, since back in ye olde days, when science was new and people were just figuring out, taxonomy, the narwhal tusk was presented as a unicorn horn. Boss, I may not be able to bring you an actual unicorn, but here's the horn. The throne of, I think, Denmark is still called the Narwhal throne, because there's this big elaborate throne and it's decorated with narwhal horns. Or maybe it's called the unicorn horn. I really should look these things up before I start talking. Regardless, there's a throne in Europe that's covered with narwhal tusks. Now, this is not just any Narwhal Day. This is the 20th annual Narwhal Day. Now, you may be saying to yourself, oh, I've never heard of Narwhal Day. That is unsurprising. First, the narwhal is not nearly as widely known nor celebrated as it ought to be, given how preposterously awesome it is. But also, Narwhal Day was founded 20 years ago by my brother and I. Now, my brother and I disagree about all kinds of things. I try to be a faithful Catholic. He's an agnostic. My politics are generally, center-right. His politics are generally center-left. I live in Michigan. He lives in Ohio, the place where happiness goes to die. But one thing we can always agree on is the magnificence of the narwhal. And even though we don't live as close to each other as we'd like, and especially in these days of the pandemic and panic, we can't physically see each other. Yes, we can talk on the phone and we can FaceTime, but we all know it's not the same as being in the room together. But no matter where we are, no matter how much distance separates us, no matter whether we're getting along, whether we're quarreling, whatever it is, we can always come together on May 23rd and celebrate the narwhal. Now, I would encourage you and your loved ones to join in on celebrating Narwhal Day. You wear gray, you listen to Sympathy for the Narwhal by DJ Seaghost, an ally of the Aquabats, and then you recite the oath of Narwhal Day. But it doesn't actually matter what you celebrate. I would urge you to come up with some special observance, some special holiday that is celebrated amongst you and your closest loved ones. Yeah, it's great to get the family together for Thanksgiving. It's great to get the family together for Christmas. It's great, at least it was once upon a time, to get the family together for Easter. And, God willing, will be again. But even better than this, even better than something that everybody celebrates, is something peculiar to you and yours. The church has urged us to regard the family as the basic cell of society. American culture is based upon the notion of the individual as the basic cell of culture, and it's hard to see how that doesn't lead to an excess of selfishness and individualism. All that matters is as long as nobody interferes with what I want to do, that's great. Whereas being part of a family teaches us to be responsible one for another. In my family, being a bunch of oddballs, one way that we remember how important we are to each other and that we stay responsible for each other is through the joint celebration of Narwhal Day. Maybe your family will stumble upon something far less ridiculous. Maybe you'll stumble on something much more ridiculous. But whatever it is, develop some specific family traditions. Develop some specific family observances. Or, many of us have difficult relationships with some members of our family. It doesn't have to be your family of blood. It can be your family of choice. It doesn't have to be kin. It can be kith. But those people who mean the most to you, develop your own Narwhal Day and celebrate it every year. Though you should also feel free to join in with my brother and I in celebrating the actual Narwhal Day. May 23rd, no matter what day of the week it is. No 3-day weekends here. Although it turns out that this year, hey, it's on a weekend. Huzzah! Comment below with how your family or your closest friends are developing those specific traditions that bind you together, even when events try to tear you apart. Subscribe to our channel, ring the church bell, give this episode a like, and until next time, which we've still got one more week of Easter, so that means next time is tomorrow. Until tomorrow, remember to live your faith, love your faith, share that love.